Elementallis, or any other possible pronunciations for that name. I'm partial to Elementallis myself, but let's not beat around the bush. This game demo, and presumably the entire project, is a huge Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past homage, with the twist being the combining together of various elemental abilities for both combat and puzzles. How well does it manage to balance those two? I don't know. You see, most of that spiel comes from me reading the Kickstarter page. The demo itself had a solid dungeon with wonderful opportunities for both exploration and combat with a variety of enemies, all of which controls great, by the way, as well as one element. Let you shoot a fireball. A small, short-range fireball that you use to ignite basins and burn enemies that live in a volcano. You can see why that might not be the most exciting thing. Now, I don't actually dislike the fire element in this. It's just, you'd think at least two, right? To show off the switching back and forth. The button for it's on the control screen. But let's not harp too much on what isn't here, because I did enjoy myself. A little baffled, but the core gameplay is good. By design, nothing original, but the formula is solid. There's a reason that the inspiration for this is one of Nintendo's tentpole series. It's fun to delve into a dungeon, killing monsters and solving puzzles in order to go even deeper and find your prize. And with as tight and responsive as these controls are, this demo manages to avoid falling into the trap of just making me want to play Zelda instead. I really don't want to keep going back to Zelda comparisons, but they're not making it easy. The concept as well as art style are derivative. They're supposed to be, and the more modern ambient lighting adds some extra flair, but that's still something you have to overcome, in my opinion. Hopefully with the gameplay, and while the core of that is good, it has some issues. Primarily in the form of these boss fights. Now, everything about this demo is a little undertuned when it comes to difficulty. I didn't feel like I was in danger of dying at any point, but I never felt less threatened than I did fighting the two bosses. One of them's a mini-boss, but the point still stands. These guys don't have a whole lot going on. That mini-boss I mentioned is a literal rock, and its fight is just this clip repeated 4 times. 3 if you're quick, and I would normally say, well, it's just a tutorial thing. It's trying to get me to use my shield, I get it. Because that's all that you do. But the thing is, there's a room before this full of enemies that shoot fire like the mini-boss does. And also there's a sign in that room that tells you to use your shield. So I kind of thought that I was supposed to do that. But anyways, the final boss of this dungeon is a candle, and I question why a sentient pillar of wax would want to live in a volcano, but the fight has more going on. He jumps up and slams back down, spawning smaller candles that you have to deal with, and then halfway through the fight he enrages and starts slamming down 3 times quickly in succession before staying put, which is an improvement. It's just that halfway through the fight in this instance means about 30 seconds. The full-fledged boss of this demo takes a little over 1 minute to beat. Casually. And I didn't even come close to taking any damage. Brass tacks is both of these fights leave a lot to be desired, but the bigger thing is that they're so by the books that it's not a very good demonstration of what the developer could do with the bosses in a full game. I mean, the puzzles were also pretty simple, but they did their job, and I think the simplicity comes more from the limited tools. So I'm more forgiving with that, and really that's about it for this demo. Looking back, a lot of that seems pretty negative, but I did enjoy myself, and overall I'd still say it's a little above average. A slightly shaky B-. There are things that I really didn't like, but the foundation is so solid that all they were able to do is bring down certain aspects to average. I still want to play this game. preferably with more than one element at my command. So that's the Elementallis demo. Link for it in the description, along with a link to their Kickstarter, which is running until June 3rd, as well as other various links that are related to the project if I find any. But thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful decade. Who knows, it may take me that long to make another one of these.